think there is quite a good number of positive things that came out of this exercise. You wouldn't have had such a vibrant and rich discussion and interview of me in the absence of information that was brought to light in relation to gender issues, freedom of expression.
Justice Mogoeng Mogoeng was asked about his views and understanding of the role of the media in a democracy.
If you are appointed Chief Justice, Judge Mogoeng, you would be the head of the JSC as well. And having gone through all of this, is there anything that you would want to change? And specifically, would you want documents that were placed before the JSC not to be made available to the media? Or is there any other thing that you would think that you would want to change or improve? Thank you.
I think our country can only become richer in terms of its democracy when the media has a say in the suitability or otherwise of candidates that are to be appointed. As I indicated in my response, it's only when there is some element of one-sidedness that we have to be concerned, but the bottom line is the media must express itself fully, particularly as a voice for those who are voiceless on the suitability or otherwise of candidates.
Just before the end of the interview on the second day, Koos van der Merwe urged Mogoeng to withdraw from the one-horse race.
Judge Sandile Ngcobo was invited to continue as Chief Justice, but out of respect for the judiciary, he walked away just because there was a problem with the law, the Act. In your case, the situation in which you are 100 times worse than that of Sandile Ngcobo. I am inviting you, I'm making an appeal to you. Follow the Sandile Ngcobo option. Please withdraw. And then this matter could quiet down.
Might I intervene, Chairperson?
Van der Merwe's suggestion triggered interjections and counter-interjections from other commissioners, prompting the chairperson of the commission to intervene.
On a point of order? Yes. Chairperson, I think my colleague commissioner here is out of order. To put such a proposition, it is not his duty to put such a proposition to the candidate. We, as commissioners here, will decide what the position is of this commission, not one person, and object to the manner in which he is putting this thing.
I think the objection is good. Commissioner van der Merwe, I think you can continue down that route.
No, I have the right to reply. I am putting a request to the judge on behalf of myself, on behalf of nobody else. And I'm saying to him, he will do
Chairperson, the request is out of order, and I ask you to rule on that.
It is not out of order, and I won't be stopped.
It is not for Mr. van der Merwe to decide whether the question is out of order.
I said it is not for me. I'm just voicing my own opinion, and I'm entitled to do that.
However, van der Merwe insisted that Mogoeng should withdraw his candidacy.
I'm asking you, please withdraw.
Chairperson, I ask you to rule whether that question is out of order.
Yeah, the question is not out of order. I can appeal to you, exercise the Sandile Ngcobo option. Walk away, let things calm down, and then maybe you can become the Chief Justice in time. You're only 51.
I think you've made the point, and we've had the objection, which I think, in my view, is a good objection, because our purpose is basically to act in accordance with what the Constitution requires of us. And I think, but seemingly you want to answer Justice Mogoeng, do you?
No, I'm asking to make closing remarks if commissioners are done, and if it's not possible, I'll understand.
Another commissioner took on van der Merwe, but not without counter-reaction.
Commissioner van der Merwe has been in the JSC for quite too long. Maybe it's high time that he needs to think.
Mr. Minister, I think you have been too long in your seat. You should go, not me.
The exchange between the former IFP Chief Whip and Radebe generated laughter from commissioners and the audience, prompting Moseneke's intervention once again.
Those of us who don't work in Parliament are not used to this heckling, I must say. I'll be with you, Deputy Minister. Where we work, it's 1% at a time.
I can
Either
assure
judge
you
or
that
council.
after this, the Minister and I will have a drink.
Oh, okay. Where I work is always 1% at a time, but I understand there could be other cultures in other arms of the state.
This was one of Mogoeng's parting shots after facing 2 days of intense scrutiny from the Judicial Service Commission.
I welcome the robust public debate that took place about this important matter, and I'm grateful to these pressure groups for facilitating the rich interview that we have had since yesterday. I hope, though, that in the future we will be truthful and fair in our presentation of the respective positions that we hold. We have been in this, that we hold, I beg your pardon. And I appeal for a semblance of respect, just a semblance of respect for whatever candidate we may choose to comment on as public interest groups, and whoever else may wish to comment on the suitability or otherwise of a candidate. I'm also glad that I am the one who was criticized in the media over the past several weeks, and not any other judge or magistrate.
He further said the kind of criticism he had been facing would have forced another candidate to withdraw.
Because judging by how devastated judges and magistrates who called me were, as a result of the reports in the media about me, I have reason to believe that very few, if any, would have survived the pressure, the intensity of the pressure that surrounded the comments that were made about me. They would in all likelihood have either withdrawn, as just suggested, and I may indicate that somebody did actually write me an email suggesting that I withdraw, and I said to him, you know, it's always a good idea to reserve judgment until you've heard the other side of the story.
The outgoing Chief Justice now has just over a week before his term ends. It remains to be seen whether the incoming candidates who will be contesting for the position will be subjected to the same scrutiny as Mogoeng Mogoeng was more than 10 years ago. Mercedes Besent, SABC News, Parliament.